Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm compelled. I just want to. This I thought was sort of the most. I don't even know. Telling or sort of. Even 2 months ago, this issue of Sri Lanka and the quote bloodbath on the beach and civilians getting bombed from the air and even at this point belatedly the Secretary General has started saying he's very concerned. He sent his main political advisor Lynn Pascoe to visit the camps. I think the Secretary General saw he was getting a lot of criticism, at least in the press, for inaction on Sri Lanka. So he sort of sprang into action right before the GA. And what shocked me is that how little the countries, even that 2 months ago, were saying they're very concerned, how little follow-through there is. The U.S. hasn't mentioned the word Sri Lanka. I've sort of like, the Japanese are talking a lot. So like, they've done literally 5 press briefings of what their new prime minister has talked about with other world leaders. He met with Obama, their foreign minister, met with Hillary, met with the foreign minister of Australia. And so these guys do briefings like literally like every couple of hours. There's, come and hear what our new prime minister has talked about. And sort of from that you can glean what these other leaders are talking about. So that when Japan met with the U.S., even the issue of Myanmar wasn't raised, although it would seem like if it was important to them it would have been. It was raised it was raised by Gordon Brown, but neither the U.K. or the U.S. Raised to Japan the issue of Sri Lanka. Only I ran into David Miliband, the foreign minister.
By the way,
of the UK.
can we just say David Miliband? He's so young. He's like 43 or something.
That's
he's
correct.
Like the youngest
Absolutely.
foreign minister ever.
He's viewed as now some of that steam is gone, but he was viewed not long ago as a possible replacement of Gordon Brown, as sort of the wonder boy of British politics.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if that Cameron certainly has a golden tongue. Whether he could administrate,
okay.
we don't know.
Should we get back to
class?
Do you want to finish your thought, and then do we need to?
I guess what I want to finish my thought is that it's very strange because for all the windy speeches and theatrics to decide, and even the formal meetings. We may disagree. To me, some of these things are just so scripted. Like they call it a debate, and it literally is just like people reading stuff out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Which is what today's Security Council meeting was. It was not actually a debate. It was people reading stuff out.
Yeah. And they would never have even gone. They wouldn't have put it forward until they got all 15 on
Absolutely.
board.
But that's life. But that's the way it's supposed to be. You want it to be different from that?
No, but what I want is that, and this has happened in other, like even on issues that may not be huge in the American mind, but like Ivory Coast or things that are usually like hot topics, conflicts or leaders who won't have an election. The General Assembly meeting provides an opportunity for sort of like countries that are interested to get together and sort of put the screw. This happened on Cote d'Ivoire. This year there was a meeting, this Myanmar meeting, and there's a separate meeting on Friends of Democratic Pakistan that took place today. But so I guess I'm just back on the Sri Lanka one. It sort of amazes me that none of the essentially Western countries that said they were very concerned. Something changed so radically in the last 2 months that no one wants to talk about it. I asked Japan, and they said, well, we used to be involved there trying to resolve the conflict, but now the conflict is resolved. And the irony to me of that is that there's all this talk here of like, we always have to look at root causes, right? But the reality is that apparently the interest, even like Norway, I talked to the Norwegian diplomat today and said, what are you doing on Sri Lanka? And he said, well, it's really up to the government there. It's sort of like the government's bluster has scared off the Westerners, and their level of commitment was low. And essentially, maybe they were only involved because there was a military conflict between a rebel group and a government. And once the government crushes the rebels, even if you end up locking up the ethnic group from which the rebels came, nobody cares anymore. I don't know. It's sort of has amazed me. Unless there's some truly secret meetings taking place far beneath the UN, something is wrong.
No, I know Sri Lanka has been an issue that you've been concerned about for a long time. And
no, but I think ironically, I didn't feel bad asking about it because it's one of the literally in his pre-GA press conference, it was like that and Sudan, the top 2 country-specific issues that Ban Ki-moon raised. And I think it literally is because if you actually look in the Washington Post piece that I cited about lack of commitment to human rights, Sri Lanka is used as the main example. It may not be the world's biggest country, but it's been, I believe, sort of the most telling conflict of the year in terms of sort of the new dynamic where it really makes a difference. The China is much more committed to its positions than the U.S. or the U.K. or France are.
Yeah.
On some, I guess it varies, right?
Well, it's just.